acceptable in your sight, O God, our strength and our hope. Amen. Can I just begin by saying I love the way Eugene Peterson tells that little piece of the story, because I love the way he makes Jesus sound not just engaging, but like humorous and challenging at the same time, and not quite so much like the solemn words intoned from above. A little bit more like having a conversation with somebody who's right there, which he is. I heard a great story this week. I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to repeat it as best I can. But I don't think I can tell it with the same. Yes, I can probably tell. Well, I can't tell it with the same level of pride that it was told to me. But I heard a story this week from a very proud grandpa who was telling about how his little granddaughter was helping grandma harvest the last of the potatoes from the garden, from their vegetable garden. And as they were working, she was getting kind of dirty, and she said, I'm getting dirt in my shoes. And grandma said, why don't you take your shoes off? So she took her shoes off, and the next time grandma looked over, she dug her feet into the ground and covered them with dirt and said, I'm connecting with the earth. She said she was connecting with the earth, and she knew to do that because she watched our summer program, Holy Ground. And we talked about earthing and grounding, which is that understanding that we're not just the sort of spiritual understanding that we're connected to the earth, but there's actually scientific evidence to suggest that if you contact the bare earth with your bare skin, the electrons in the earth recharge you. Like you can connect with those. And apparently it's really good, earthing, grounding is really good for inflammation. It can help improve your health because you're connecting with those electrons so you're re-energizing yourself with the earth. Laurie explained it as part of Holy Ground in a much more friendly way than that. But that was one of the things that we did each day. She had a little segment in our thing about connecting with the earth and doing this grounding thing. And it's such a great story to hear right now when we're like Thanksgiving of harvest. It's okay. Free range children. It's all right.
He likes the candle though.
Okay, maybe not so much the candle. Okay. Yeah. Or maybe pulling on that. That might not be good either. But he's doing good, though. He's doing good. Yeah. He's connecting. He's connecting with his surroundings. Sometimes by falling down, but he's connecting with his surroundings. And that was the point of that story, is connecting with the earth. And at harvest time, and this Thanksgiving for harvest, we're thankful for the bounty of the earth, right? That's our traditional understanding of harvest Thanksgiving, is we are thankful for the bounty of the earth that feeds us. How exactly are we thankful? Would be my next question. Do we give the earth a little pat and say thanks so much for that? Because this is where I think sometimes thankfulness takes a turn that it maybe shouldn't. Expectation. Thankfulness has become, I think, in many ways, it's become a commodity. I thank you, and in return, or I have given, and in return, we have. Can I tell a Star Trek story? Is that okay? Star Trek reference? On the old Next Generation series, there's an episode where Captain Picard needs to get a ship from the Klingons, and so he goes to the Klingons to ask for this ship. And the guy he talks to won't even let him talk to his boss. And so he says, well, tell him this message. I'd like this ship. And the guy says, well, in return, what do we get for that? And he says, my thanks, my gratitude. And of course, the Klingon guy goes, what? You want me to tell him you're just going to thank us? And he goes, yes. You tell him I'm going to be thankful. And if he doesn't want to give us a ship, I'm sure there are other people that would like to give us a ship, and then they would have our thanks. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. How often do we do that? How often do we do that with thankfulness? We treat it like it's some kind of a commodity. And the thing is, the beauty of the stories we heard this morning remind us of two important things. One is we are connected to the earth. We are connected to the earth. This passage from Joel, did that sound familiar, how that started? Here's Joel proclaiming God, saying, don't be afraid. Fear not, O land. Don't be afraid, talking to the earth. That should sound familiar, because how many times did Jesus say to us, don't be afraid? It's the same language. He goes on to talk about how we will benefit also, but he starts with the land and all the things that live in the land. We are connected to the land. And then Jesus talks about another way in which we're connected to the land, that we can see in the land, that trust in God. Not that we don't have to do anything. It's not, don't worry, be happy. It's not, don't worry, God will take care of you. You don't have to do anything. It's about the relationship that we have that allows that to happen. And that's the key thing about thankfulness. It's not a barter system. It's a relationship. It's part of the relationship that we have with each other. Our thankfulness and gratitude, when we share it, is part of our relationship with each other, or part of our relationship with God, part of our relationship with the floor when we land on it. It's part of our relationship. It's not something that should be accompanied with expectation. Neither should giving be accompanied with expectation. It's part of our relationship with each other. This is the kind of relationship that Jesus is trying to teach us to build, and reminding us constantly that that relationship is with God and how we know God. Because God is love. God is the energy of creation. God is the energy of the earth. When we ground and connect to the earth, that is the power of creation that's working in both of us, all of us. Thankfulness, again, shouldn't be confined to one day of the year. It shouldn't just be about having a nice meal and enjoying some potato. It should be about how that connects us to things and how we can be thankful and grateful every day. Not just one of those moments of, I know, wake up in the morning and what my first thought this morning is going to be, what am I grateful for today? That's a really great exercise. But if you wake up in the morning and say, I am thankful for potatoes today, and then you spend the rest of the day ignoring that gratitude, it's not going anywhere, is it? Whatever it is that we find ourselves thankful for, and there are so many things in so many ways, that is part of how we are connecting with each other, relating to each other, creating relationships with each other, in sharing that. And that is not just today, but every day. We are part of the earth. Not just metaphorically, we are of the earth, remember? Created in the image of God from the earth. That's how the Genesis story goes. But we are also we are also, well, we're going to sing in a minute, the soil of God. The seeds of the Spirit that are planted in us, that grow into fruition, the seeds that we share with each other. Gratitude is part of that. It plants the seeds in each of us, in each of our relationships, that cause those relationships to grow.